I'm curious, you guys just premiered the film last weekend, didn't you?
It wasn't a premiere. It was a special screening to raise funds for the Museum of Social Justice. We're on the board. Walter's the president of the board, and to call attention not only to the film but also to the museum.
So it was a preview, a benefit preview. The reason we kind of didn't want to say premiere is because we do want to get it into a West Coast film festival, and a lot of times those festivals don't want your film unless it can be a premiere. So anyway, that's why.
I understand. But you know, after nurturing this project for the better part of 10 years, as I understand it.
12 years.
Oh, wow. What was it like to unveil it to an audience? What's the most satisfying part of that audience reaction?
Well, I have to say, Jamie, it was a pretty emotional night for me. We happen to have an incredible theater, which is owned by the Motion Picture Academy, and it is exquisite. The projection is superb. The sound system is superb, and their projectionist and the house manager were right there. And for a filmmaker, having it screened there could not have been. I mean, you just can't find a venue more perfect for screening. And
takeaway from the screening was just briefly. Walter and I in August will be married 40 years. We eloped. We never had a wedding. And so this, in a way, was our wedding. And to see everyone so happy and so moved. And my husband took care of every detail. And we had caterers and we had flowers. And, you know, if we had a wedding, we would have done the same thing. And everyone felt honored. And they were moved. All different age groups, from teenagers to elders, people coming out with tears in their eyes but smiles on their faces. I mean, what greater response could a filmmaker have?
Well, I think that obviously, your story is specific to your family, but it's also universal. I mean, who among us doesn't have this strong connection to family and this legacy, and many of us are blind to, our heritage. So I think, yeah.
Yeah, hopefully people will be inspired to the takeaway for people, I hope, will be, number one, to appreciate their own families and look for the heroes in their families. Everybody has heroes somewhere in their family background, amazing people. And quite frankly, since just about everybody, unless you're purely Native American, everybody came from somewhere else here in the United States, and it took a lot of courage for those people to immigrate, and they went through a lot. There's reasons why they left, and it wasn't easy to come here, and so we have heroes in everybody's got amazing people in their background. And the other takeaway is that I'm hoping people will come away inspired to each in their own way do something to help make the planet a better place. If it's a small thing that they do or a big scale thing, whatever it is, we can each do something every day, even if it's just smiling at another person on the street or doing a kindness, opening a door for somebody and smiling. Things as simple and basic as that have a great deal of meaning. So
I think so.
I'm hoping people will be inspired to...
There's so many different moments. There was a young man at the screening afterwards who said, I wish more Mexicans were portrayed this way in the media, in the films. Gave them a sense of pride. And so many people were just blown away by the history. They said they don't teach this in school.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
It was very gratifying, but we're fried.
It was an emotional experience to sit in the back of the theater and watch the film unfold on a large screen and with a big audience and people from the film industry, professionals, and people from a cross-section of LA's very diverse population, young and old, and have people enraptured in watching a film that you've made It's taken, as you pointed out, years, and there it is. I have to say I shed a lot of tears during the screening just of this incredible sense of kind of like a dream come true.
Well, what really gets me about the notion of showing your film finally to the public after living with it for so long is it's almost like you're able to see it for the first time because you're seeing it through their eyes. So it feels so fresh.
That's so true.
Way. Yeah.
And every time you screen it, you have a different group of people. It's a different experience. We've screened it for the public now twice. This last week and the month before, it was a private screening for crew members, cast members, family and friends, and a few others. And both times it was, as you say, it was really something to see it, experience it through their eyes. In that sense, it was powerful.
Here's something that I would imagine.
Filmmaker, that's what it's all about. It's you're making something to share with people. It isn't just for yourself, but for all the years that you're making it. And in this case, you're just never sure until it's out there with people how it's going to be received and how it's going to strike them, what it's going to bring to them. And so it's been very rewarding.
When any of us when we investigate our family history, I remember years ago, I started talking to my father about his childhood, and so many little tidbits were revealed, and I not only did I feel like I related to him more because I knew that, but in many ways it unlocked some things about me that I wasn't aware of. In the process of doing that, Walter, what did you learn about yourself in investigating the history of your family?
Well, of course, the more I found out, the more I was amazed at my grandfather. He'd always been an amazing man to me, and I would always adored him. But I think I really understood him in a much, much more dimensional way. And by doing so, I also felt a great deal of pride in my family background and respect for the elders and what they'd been through. And also, I had to learn a lot of history and put myself in another era. So I think it kind of, made me a more mentally spacious and spiritually nurtured and emotionally gratified. And I think it also showed me that if they could do it, I could do it. And I was getting so many gifts along the way that I felt this was meant to be. And I just needed to keep going because there were certainly a lot of times when I felt this is just too much. It's taken so long, and when am I going to wrap it up and finish it? And there were a lot of times when I was, very, sometimes occasionally despairing. Most of the time, just I felt no, I've got to go on because these people went on and with much, much bigger obstacles, and here I am complaining. And so I felt I owed it to them to keep going and finish it. So I did.
And it was born out of a moment of, or a period of kind of spiritual distress in your own life, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. You go through certain cycles of life and certain phases or passageways, and I had just turned 50. A friend of mine, very close friend of ours, died suddenly of a stroke, and he was very young to have such a massive thing happen. It was a very, very devastating and powerful experience. 9/11 happened. My father was diagnosed with heart disease that they couldn't cure, and all these things came more or less at the same time. And I felt very saddened and disheartened, and of course fearful too, because when you're confronted with mortality, you get scared. This is what I may have to go through. You think that way. So I needed help. I needed spiritual help. So who came to me more and more and more was my grandfather. The memory of him, felt his spirit around. Became very, very not obsessed, but just really focused on finding out all I could about him. And by doing so, it really did help pull me out of that funk I was in and give me a whole new focus for living.
Yeah, and Shelley, I asked Walter about what he learned about himself in this process. I mean, you were with him and working with him on this film for the past 12 years, as you said.
No, I was initially involved, and then I was working on Will and Grace. And Walter would, go off and take these trips to meet these incredible historians, and we put our own money into this project because it was such a labor of love. We wanted to do it the way we wanted to do it. We wanted to be the bosses. And 75% of the people who worked on this film, either in front or behind the camera or who helped us, we've known for over 25 years. So it was a family. It was a family thing, and having a lot of Walter's family playing the reenactments, the essential characters, came on board really, I guess, the last couple of years. But it's Walter's film. It's entirely Walter's film. He's incredible. I have to say, he's one of the most extraordinary human beings I've ever known in my life. And in many ways, my contribution has been, because I have somewhat of a name value, was to call attention to get some publicity on it. Right. And be chief bottle washer and cook and makeup artist and you name it.
Well, she did quite a bit, actually. She's being very, which is marvelous, but she's being very modest because after years of filming and finally feeling I'd reached the point where there was a story now to be told that was the beginning, a middle, and end. Then by that point, I'd accumulated almost 400 hours of footage. So it was a huge amount of editing that needed to be done, and I got the film down to an initial 4-hour length, and of course I knew that was, far too long for audiences to sit through. But it was very, very difficult because really there was all kinds of many wonderful sequences, many wonderful interviews that ultimately didn't make it into the final cut. But I needed Shelley has an enormous background in theater, not only television and film, but in theater. Her basic training, her roots are theater. She knows about dramatic development, storytelling, dramaturgy. At what point you really need to start tightening things up and moving quickly to a climax, and things like that. And when you get bogged down and you're an editor and director and you've got all this wonderful stuff, but it's mixed. After a while, you can just sort of get lost in it. You need somebody to sort of stand back, look at it, and help you find what the essential spine is, what the essential storyline is, and stick to that and make hard choices, which I had to do. It wasn't always easy, and sometimes I would.
We butted heads a few times, but
I would rebel sometimes. I can't let that go.
Yeah, because you're so
as an extra on the DVD, and
especially
was that my main concern with the film was that it would capture Walter's essence, because he was taking people on a journey, and Walter's essence is he's very kind, he's very calm, he's very what is the word? He's a gentleman, and I felt that the film really captured his essence, and so the audience was willing to go with him on the journey.
You do feel that. I mean, it is a beautiful, open-hearted film, and I think you feel that quality throughout. But I guess what I was trying to get from you, Shelley, is in watching your husband and supporting him on this journey, what do you think was your major kind of emotional catharsis? I mean, what was your discovery through this journey?
I discovered new things about Walter. We're together over 40 years, and it's like seeing someone every day who is this incredible diamond, and then all of a sudden you see all these other brilliant facets within this diamond. So it's you're falling in love all over again. And we're of like minds from day one, and it's a growth for both of us, and moving forward and doing what we love.
Yeah.
And that is the most gratifying, to see the people coming out of the theater with tears in their eyes, these professional people who would come over and hug us, and just, it was like all the unspoken. And how many times in your lifetime do you get that kind of reaction?
Yeah.
And
you know,
it's like, hey, honey, I think we're on to something. And it's following your own path, choosing to work with people who are of like minds, who are passionate about the work, about the discoveries. And so that's gratifying. And we have all these young people that we've mentored and that have gone on now to edit a film. This young man who worked with us for many years went on to edit a film that we went to see. And I said to Walter, I said, my God, this film, this reminds me of an early Cassavetes film. Well, lo and behold, the Independent Spirit Award, they nominated it for the John Cassavetes Award, and it won.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
Wow. And I think we need this now more than ever, because I think about this a lot. We have all of these avenues today with social media and what have you, where in theory it should make us more connected, but in reality I think we're more disconnected than we've ever been.
That's the point. We wanted people to reconnect to their family, to reconnect to each other, to reconnect to I get up very, very early in the morning, and I go out on the deck, and I say prayers for everybody, and then I meditate. And one of the prayers that I have is, please come into the hearts and minds of everyone and bring compassion and reason to end the wars and the hunger and the hatred. And let it begin with us, and let's heal the planet. And the other day, yesterday, we were with one of our nephews. He's 17. He's going into his senior year in high school. And so he has a lot of electives he can take. And so we were asking Robert, what he's going to take. And he said, for the science class, I want to take an environmental course. And it's like, whoa, okay, that's a prayer that's answered.
Yes.
So,
yeah. And I think that because we all love movies, and I think a movie like this is a great reminder of the power of movies, because at their best, movies kind of reconnect us to our own sense of humanity. And I think that's the major value of cinema.
Yes.
And that's the very theme of your film in many ways.
Yes, that's very true, and I'm thankful and I'm grateful that it is connecting with people that way, because that is what you're so right, that we are more connected than ever and yet more disconnected than ever. And I see it every day on the streets of Los Angeles driving around. For example, this happens almost literally every day. Somebody will step out onto the street without really looking around to seeing who is coming, at what speed they're coming, and to get a sense of whether they're even, if the drivers are even seeing them. I've stopped to let people cross in front of me and let next lane over. The people do not even slow down; they just keep going at high speeds, and you just see people they're living in their own bubbles, and they're not paying attention to what's around them, and they're also not taking responsibility. A sense of connectedness to other people also means feeling a sense of responsibility for protecting the lives of those around us, if we can help it. To not just assume that they'll take care of themselves as you're racing down the street. It's I've really seen a deterioration in the last few years as I see more people walking around with a cell phone glued to their ear or an iPod, headphones, and they're walking around and they're just totally unaware. So, yeah, I agree with you on that. And I'm hoping that this film does awaken in people the desire to really just spend some time with the people you know and really sit there and listen to their stories, ask them questions, really look at them and not have your iPhone in one hand waiting for the next message to come through so that you're not really paying attention to the persons who you're with.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think that the documentary form is a particularly valuable asset to this kind of journey of discovery, as you describe it in your title, because it reminds you that life is this ever-evolving thing. The very process of making a documentary is like that. And I was curious what you were taken by in mounting this documentary about the form itself.
Well, the form itself does give you the opportunity to capture or be awakened to moments that are happening in life. Granted, there's a certain amount of artifice in that, you bring a camera, you set it up, or you ask permission, may I record this? So there's a little bit of, of effort in doing that slightly changes the atmosphere. But if you are a person who genuinely is interested in what the people in front of you have to say, and you're really listening, they sense that you really care and that you are really listening. It's amazing what comes out of people, and so you just can't get that in fictional film. Even a great writer doesn't always really capture these marvelous nuances and stories and language, the way people speak and the way they gesture and everything. So it's
two of the critical things in the film. It's having value of people and respect. And I think that's what a lot of people are responding to. In particular, there's a sequence with Walter's step-grandmother, Teresita, who we adored. And here she was at the end of her life. And at first, the audience is looking at this, decrepit old lady. And within a minute, she has them wrapped around her finger with her incredible humor and her incredible sense of love and spirituality. So Walter was handed a lot of gifts.
That certainly was.
And we really feel that Tata and a lot of our other relatives that are on the other side were there guiding this along. And it took that long to become a reality because that's how long it took.
Mm-hmm.
The documentary allows you to also to really focus on the people and what they're actually going through and what they've actually gone through. So it's an incredible education. It's really eye-opening, and it's because it's people that you largely are dealing with and what they've been through. There's an authenticity and a power that comes with it. So the documentary form has really come into its own.
But then, Walter, it's also your essence as well. I've been with him long enough to know that children, animals, people just gravitate towards him.
Well, you have to create a condition by which these things open up and happen.
A safe place.
Yeah, and that happens just by, first of all, loving people. I mean, really liking people and really just, you don't love everybody automatically, but there's always something in each person that you can connect to, and so you look for that. And I think it's that attitude of real interest and genuine love of humanity and people and a sense of adventure about that. Open, I think, it creates wonderful moments that if the camera's on, you capture, and it's magic. So,
well, I love what you said, Shelley, about kind of following the muse, because I find that all great filmmakers they say, and sometimes it happens during the production, sometimes it happens in editing, that eventually, at some point, if you're open to it, the film tells you what it wants to be.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And we're proud of it, and we hope that we'll be able to continue on. We're neophytes now when it comes to the next phase, which is getting it seen in some film festivals, getting someone to help us raise the rest of the money that we need to promote it, and but that'll happen. It'll happen, and we're taking it a little slow right now. We don't want to just take this film and just throw it into a theater and make a few bucks and it's gone. We don't want that. We're not in it to make a lot of money. If we can make some of the money back, we can continue on the next documentary that we've already started. So it's in the doing of it. It's in the reactions from the people. It's seeing your child grow up. It was wonderful last night. Our spiritual son and his lady were over. They brought food for us last night because we were exhausted. And they were there at the screening. And for your kids to say to you, we're so proud of you. Wow. Anthony and Jen just looked at us and said, we're just so proud of you. And
they love the film. They really love the film, and they keep talking about it, thinking about it, and thinking about the characters and their favorite moments. And that's a very wonderful feeling to know that you've got something out in the world that people are really relating to, and it means something to them. It has something to really say to them. So I do feel a great deal of pride in that, and a sense of completion. And I feel like I have really done something to honor my ancestors, and I feel good about that. I feel like I've also helped to heal a feeling of not having really been there for my grandfather when he really needed me, and now I feel like at least I've done something that brings him honor and tells his story, and that feels good.
Closure of some kind.
Yeah.
Well, the film is absolutely a lot about legacy, and what you've done through this film is continue that legacy for the next generation. I mean, that has to be gratifying.
Oh, you're going to give us such swell heads, now stop it.
It's wonderful. I mean, really, thank you so much for these wonderful, for the appreciation and for the insights.
Well, I really want our audience, our listening audience, to investigate the film and see it whenever they're able. And I think particularly for young people, it's a must-see. I mean, they have to learn that, your parents, your grandparents, that they existed before you were born. And that's something that we forget a lot of times. So
Do we call you when it's going to be playing at your neighborhood theater or someplace so people will know where to go see it?
If you have a mailing list or something, I'll give you my email. Anytime it screens at a festival or plays in a particular city, let me know, and I'll pass on the information. Absolutely.
Great.
So,
see, that's where I'm the producer. I'm from the Bronx. What can I tell you? And I make people laugh, but at the same time, I try to get what we need out of them in a very nice way.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I will be honored to share any information you have at any time about screenings.
Now, where are you located? Where are we talking to now?
Well, I personally am in Florida, but we have listeners throughout the U.S. and on into Egypt and the U.K. all over anyone that can access a podcast listens to our show. We have about 3.25 million subscribers.
Oh my Lord!
Yeah, so I will definitely get the word out for you guys, and I have the website. Let me make sure that the website is correct. It is weavingthepast.com, correct?
Yes. Yes,
okay.
And as we're speaking, we're posting more comments that people... We did video of people coming out of the screenings, excuse me, and what we've done is put that on the website. There's the trailer. There's all kinds of incredible reviews for people like yourself who have seen it and have written just lovely things. Getting back to our niece and nephew, the twins, they're 17 years old, and they want to talk all night about the film. They've seen it several times now, and they just want to talk about it. They want to tell their friends about it. We're reaching all different ages. We're reaching all different ethnic backgrounds. It's universal. It comes down to family, and it comes down to learning about the history so we don't have to keep repeating it.
Yes. Yeah. Are you guys addicted? Before I let you go, because you mentioned you're working on another documentary. Are you guys addicted to documentary filmmaking now?
Pretty much.
Well, it just feels like that's the direction to go in right now. It's not easy to make a documentary. It's not easy to
get the money.
But to make a feature film, as an independent feature film, is incredibly difficult. And it's there are filmmakers we know who have an incredible track record, make beautiful films, who are have to go around basically begging for money, and it takes its toll, and it's not an easy thing to do. It takes a lot of time, and there's a lot of money that is promised that suddenly isn't there. And when you're trying to line up talent, name people or anybody to coordinate schedules and to keep them on board when the money falls through and you have to delay the shoot and somebody else falls out, now you have to recast, and now somebody else falls out because they were there because of the other person. There's so many elements that it's quite a juggling act to make a feature film. But documentaries are truly powerful. They're satisfying, and there are many more people willing to go see them. And because of Netflix, they're renting them and downloading. So it's a rich area.
Well, Walter and I are at an age where most people are going out on cruises, or they're going and they're going on a lot of vacations. We don't do that. This is our journey.
Yeah, it's an adventure. I got to tell you that meeting all the people we meet in the process, yourself included, in the process of making and promoting a film, it's a journey, and you meet a lot of wonderful people, and that is so reassuring. It really, gives you back the faith in humanity when you keep connecting with individuals who are really marvelous, and you just hope, and you feel a sense of hope for the world.
I want to ask you something. Did you happen to have the opportunity to see the film Emilio Estevez did called The Way?
The Way.
The Way.
Yes, ma'am. Martin Sheen's one of my favorite actors, so I race to that movie. I think he's such a beautiful, emotional actor.
He's a good friend of ours, and extraordinary human being.
We watched it again last night. We screened it for Anthony and Jen, our adopted kids, and we all wept, and we just loved the characters. We loved the journey they took, and it's a humanity film. It's about really important things.
Well, and I think that those are the movies that I respond most to. And I think the only thing I ask for from a filmmaker, and it's the same. It's my favorite word, and I think it's the way you should live your life, is passion. If I can feel that passion, and you guys are talking about it now, you're not choosing to go on cruises. You're choosing to engage your passion in the art of documentary filmmaking. I think that's beautiful.
Oh dear, the rewards we have gotten already. The rewards we have. It's just, it keeps going. It keeps going, and there are times when we're totally fried, when our brain is tired. Walter is incredible. We're both detail oriented, and even with an audience that we want to come to see a screening, we want to honor them and respect them. And so we did it upright. The theater was beautiful. We had a caterer, the flowers, everything. We had escorts for the celebrities that came. Dear, wonderful John Savage, who is an actor's actor, came, and he just loved the film. And people that we respect in the industry. Grace Zabriskie, who's brilliant, and I worship her. People who are in it for the passion, who are in it for the work, and not in it for the glitz. And my vision of hell is having to go shopping for clothes. I mean, forget it.
Well, let me tell you, thank you both so much for this beautiful gift of a movie, and please keep in touch with me and let me know when and where our audience might be able to see it in the future.
We most definitely will. Thank you so much, Jamie.